I'm Prairana Arya of BA Honours Political Science. Today I'm going to discuss about Election Commission of India and how Election Commission conducts electoral process, and about some electoral reforms, and in the end some social determinants of voting behavior. So let's first talk about Election Commission. As we all know that India is a secular, socialist, democratic republic and the second largest democratic country in the world. So free and fair elections are held at regular intervals as per the principles enshrined in our constitution. So it is the Election Commission that directs and controls the entire election process to make the election free and fair. The Election Commission was established on 25th January 1950 and it is an autonomous constitutional body which is independent and makes its decision by its own. It is responsible for conducting elections to parliament and legislature of every state and to the offices of president and vice president. The Election Commission or EC operates under the authority of Constitution per Article 324. The head of the Election Commission is called Chief Election Commissioner, who is appointed by the President. Two additional election commissioners were appointed to the commission for the first time on 16th of October 1989, but they had a very short tenure for only 1st of January 1990. The EC Amendment Act 1989 turned the commission into a multi-member body, that is a 3-member body. It has been in operation since then, and decisions by the commission are made by a majority rule. As I told you earlier, the election commissioner is appointed by the president, and the election commissioner can be removed from its office through impeachment by parliament, and the tenure of an election commissioner is 6 years. Now we will go to the second part, how Election Commission of India conduct and overlook the electoral process. The process of election can be understood through some steps. The first step to understand the electoral process is marking of constituencies. So what constituencies are? Constituencies are areas marked for people to elect their representatives from. It varies in size and in the number of representatives elected by them. We will try to understand it through an example. The number of constituencies in Delhi for Lok Sabha is 7, whereas for Rajya Sabha it's 3, and for the State Legislative Assembly or Vidhan Sabha it's 70. In contrast, if we look at the constituencies of Uttar Pradesh, the number of constituencies of Lok Sabha is 91, whereas for Rajya Sabha it's 31, and for State Legislature, or what we called before Vidhan Sabha, it's 403. So the difference of constituencies in number of Delhi and Uttar Pradesh is just because of the population. The next step is preparation of electoral rolls. Electoral rolls are the list of persons who are eligible to vote in particular constituency and who are registered to vote. So this is done so that there is no electoral fraud and to ensure that a person don't vote multiple times. Now we will move to the next step, the third step, registration of political parties. The Election Commission of India publish a notification for the date of filing the nomination of the upcoming election in particular constituency. Then it is the political parties who have to register for elections and individuals file their nomination papers. Then a person each get a ticket from the party they are representing. Now we will move on to the next step, that is analysis of nomination. The election commissioner then analyzes the nomination papers carefully. If the officer is satisfied with the information of the candidate, then he or she can contest in the election. But if the candidate don't follow the nomination rule, then he or she can't contest in election. The next step is campaigning for election. The respective candidate can then start campaigning and promotion of their respective parties, showing their particular ideology and set of policies so that people trust them and make them vote. The campaigning process is stopped 48 hours before the policy date, and the ceiling on the expenditure is 70 lakh for larger states for Lok Sabha constituencies like Uttar Pradesh and Maharashtra, and smaller states 54 lakh like Goa and other hilly northern areas. Sixth step is voting or polling day. Finally, the day arrives when the voters in the constituencies come and vote for the candidate by pressing the button on EVM against the name of the candidate he or she wants to vote. Next step is vote counting and result declaration. After the polling is done, the EVMs are sealed and taken to the counting station under supervision and security. The candidate with highest number of votes wins the election in that particular constituency. In the end, the political party that proves majority forms the government, and this is the end of the electoral process. Now we will move on to the third topic, that is electoral reforms. So electoral reform refers to the changes in electoral system to improve how public desires are expressed in election. Article 324 to 329 deals with election and electoral reforms. We will look at some of the electoral reforms that took place before 2000 and the reforms that took place after 2000. Now we will look at some of the electoral reforms that took place before 2000. First is lowering of voting age. The 61st Amendment Act of 1989 of the Constitution reduced the minimum age of voting from 21 to 18 years. Second one is electronic voting machine or EVMs. Before 1988, ballot papers were used, but first time in 1988, state elections of Delhi, Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan EVMs were introduced, and now they are widely used as they are efficient and a better option in terms of environment. Third one is a candidate can get disqualified for 6 years from contesting any kind of elections for violating National Honor Act 1971. The fourth point is it is prohibited by law to go near a polling booth bearing arms. It is punishable by imprisonment for up to 2 years. Fifth point is the time period for campaigning has been reduced. After the last day of nominations, 14 days are given for campaigning, in which last 48 hours prior to the polling, no campaigning or rallies could be held. Now we will move to electoral reforms that took place after 2000. The first one is ceiling on election expenditure. There is a ceiling on individual candidate spending. Per Lok Sabha, it increases from 50 lakh to 70 lakh and 20 lakh to 28 for an state assembly election or Vidhan Sabha election. Next one is restriction on exit polls. The EC issues a statement before the 2019 Lok Sabha election saying that exit polls could be broadcast only after the final phase of voting is over. You would think that why it is done so? It is done so because to avoid prospective voters being misguided or prejudiced in any matter. Now we will move on to our last topic, that is determinants of voting behavior in India. First we will look what voting behavior is, then we will move on to its determinants. In simple words, the notion of voting behavior implies the study of voters' preferences, alternatives, programs, ideologies, etc. on which elections are fought. Voting behavior helps to arrive to a decision which officials are choosing to run our governments, the multiplicity of parties that voters have to choose from at the polls, how many citizens will turn out to vote, who will run the government or not, and whether the majority will rule or not. Now, determinants of voting behavior are: first, caste. Caste is one of the main determinants of voting behavior. In India, considerable importance is assigned to caste based voting. The local voters give greater weight to caste issues. There has been politicization of caste in India. Caste groups act as vote banks, like Lingayats and Okilings in Karnataka, Yadavs, Thakurs, Rajputs, Jats, Kurmis in Bihar and Uttar Pradesh seriously play a great role as a vote bank. Now we will move on to the second one, that is region. The post 1977 electoral politics notices state specific electoral verdict with growing emphasis on problems and issues at regional level. More importance is given to the regional level politics. When caste no longer remains traditional vote bank, the regional identification dominates the voters' mind in India today. Third point is religion. Religion also plays an important role in Indian politics. Many political parties have been formed on the basis of religion in India. At the time of elections, different political parties beg votes in the name of religion. They raise the issue or slogan, religion is in danger, and instigates the feeling of the people. While distributing party tickets, the religion of the voters and candidates are given a due consideration. It is often seen that voters cast their vote in favor of the candidate of their own religion. Like a Muslim will vote for a Muslim candidate and a Hindu will vote for a Hindu candidate. Next point is charisma. It means the exceptional qualities of a leader that become a main source of attraction and reverence for the people in large number. The enormous participation in the meetings faced by imposing personalities such as Jawaharlal Nehru, Indira Gandhi, A.B. Vajpayee, and Narendra Modi is a sudden change in minds of voters in response to the appeals launched by such great figures can be considered a concrete proof of the role of the charisma in electoral behavior of Indian politics. In present, the perfect example of charismatic leader is Mr. Narendra Modi, our Prime Minister, as BJP won the election of 2014 and 2019 as well. Next point is language. India is a multilingual state. As we all know that the organization of state in India is based on language, which clearly reflects the importance of language as a factor of politics in India. Since people have emotional attachment with their language, so they easily get influenced whenever there comes up with issue relating to language. So linguistic interest always influence voting behavior. Sixth point is money factor. India is a poor country with a large number of people living below poverty line. Money plays a vital role in determining voting behavior of the people in India. A rich candidate or party has more chances of winning an election always. At the time of election, the poor are allured by the glitter of the money and their votes are purchased. Simple. In this way, the process of give a note and take a vote goes on in India. Seventh point is performance of the party in power. Each political party contests election on the basis of an election manifesto, and after coming to power, it is expected from the party to fulfill the promises made therein. Good or bad performance becomes an influencing basis of behavior of people in a big way. Let's try to understand it through an example. In 1989 general elections, Indira Gandhi Congress, which got a thumping majority in 1984 elections, could not even win a simple majority in the very next elections of 1989 because of its failure to perform successfully. So, performance of political parties in power becomes a great determinant of voting behavior. Our last point is public esteem of the candidate. Voters always take into account the behavior of the candidate and whether he or she is approachable or not. A voter prefers to vote for a candidate who is approachable and can help him anyway.